Hi guys, I am doing a new video. I got a couple of emails that the sound was out on the one that's up, and I tried all last night, and I think I figured out what was going on with the software and my computer. So I'm going to do it again for you, and just for demo purposes and keeping this short. Although you're required to do 4 of each, remember, 4 rectangles, 4 squares, 4 ellipses, and 4 perfect circles. I'm just going to be doing 2 each just to show you and kind of reiterate what we did in class, just getting you comfortable with the Photoshop workspace. I know many of you have never opened Photoshop before and this is your first time, so let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to go down here, open Photoshop, and then if you remember, what you have to do is open a new document. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to apologize right now too. Also, I'm sitting outside. It's a beautiful morning, so there are birds chirping behind me, so enjoy. But so I'm going to go to File, New, and in this homework assignment on the criteria sheet, I had asked you to create a document that was 14 by 17. So what I'm going to do in the height would be 14 and the width would be 17. And remember we talked about pixels, and so if your computer defaults to pixels, remember we're going to be working with inches. So just click on that drop down menu right here, hit inches, and then at this point you come up here, like I said, the width is to be 17. So just type that on in, and the height is to be 14, and we type that in. And then remember we talked about resolution, and for the documents I want you doing for me in this class, I would like for them to be 300. So just type that in, go through here, RGB's fine, background's white, double check everything's good, and just hit create. And so there's our document. Now what I want to do is come in here and I want to fill this background. Remember, it comes in and it's locked. So I'm going to go up here and go to Edit, Fill, running a little slow, sorry, and then hit Color, and then choose a background color to your liking. I'm going to do something maybe a little gray, might work better. So I'm going to hit Color, OK. So then the next thing we do is we're going to start doing the rectangles first. We'll go with that. So do not do it on the layer of the background, but keeping it locked, the computer wouldn't allow you to do that anyway. So what I'm going to do now is come down here, and you'll see right next to the trash can, you can create a new layer. So that's what I'm going to do. So I hit create a new layer. Then I go over here and grab my Marquee Tool. It's right under my Move Tool. And remember in class we kind of focused on what the Move Tool did, your marquee selection tools. It makes a selection in the shape of an ellipse. We also have the rectangle buried in there. We also worked with the magic wand tool. I walked you through some of this, but today in this exercise I'm having you work with the fill color tool. So we're going to go back here. I'm going to start with the rectangle, so I'm going to click and hold, and then this will pop up and go to the rectangle. So here in the middle, I'm going to fill this rectangle, and now it's selected. And these are the marching ants, so we know this is the shape I've selected. It's also selected, it's kind of just space. There's nothing solid to it. There's nothing in it yet. It's just selected air, if you will, because it's on a blank layer. So now what I'm going to do is go and hit Edit, Fill, and then Color, and choose a nice little color to put in there. I'll go with that one. Hit OK, or hit Return on your keyboard, hit OK, and now we have this. So what I'm going to do now is hit Command D, or Control D if you're on a PC, and Command D, then hit V, which will take us back to the Move tool, and then hold your Alt button on your keypad or on your keyboard and drag, and it makes a copy for you, and you can see it right down here in the bottom right. So at that point you go and grab your magic wand, and it might be buried underneath the quick selection, so get your magic wand, click on the last one you made, then go to Edit, and then Fill, Color, choose something else, let's go like that, OK, OK, hit Deselect, which is Command D to get rid of the marching ants, V to go back to the Move tool, and watch my magic wand will disappear and turn into the icon for the Move tool as I hit V. And now what I can do is I can move these wherever I want. And then remember, we talked about in class, if you wanted to move more than one, then what you can do is hold the Shift key and select, and you can group move them if you need to. And if you don't want to group move them or get out of it, then you just go back and click on the layer. Now what we're going to do is, since I'm now moving to, remember you're going to do 4 of these. Now that I'm moving to making a square, I need to make a new layer. So I'm going to come down here, make a new layer, double click on it, call it square, hit return, and then still using the rectangle marquee, I'm going to make a square. Only difference is I'm going to hold the Shift key now. Then you click on it, that would help. And then hold the Shift key and you notice a perfect square is happening right here. So you can do that. Also what you can do is come through here, and if you hold Shift and Alt, you can draw from the center and it'll still be a perfect square. So I've got this perfect square. Now same thing, go to Edit, Fill, choose a color, OK, or hit return, OK, and there it is. We still have the marching ants around it, so deselect it, Command D, hit V to take us to the Move tool over here. Got V, hold your Alt key and drag, and then you can see over here, here's a square copy. Then come over, grab your Magic Wand tool, or W for that. I'm going to select this, and then do Edit, Fill, Color. I think I hear a train coming, guys. I'm going to maybe have to pause this for a second. We'll see. OK. OK. Then deselect, Command D, or Control D on a PC, and then V, and it'll allow me to move them over here like this. And the computer lets you know when everything's lined up. It's awesome. All right, so go back to the top layer, and we're going to move on to an ellipse and to a circle. So what I'm going to do is start a new layer, and then double click on it, and title it Ellipse, and then hit OK, or return, big truck, sorry. And then now we're going to go over here and grab the Elliptical Tool. And we're just going to do the same thing. And then you can make it skinny, you can make it wider, you choose. I'm going to do something like that. Then Edit, Fill, choose a color. And you notice that the repetition of this, it's muscle memory, and it'll allow you to get used to this the more and more you do it. So that's why I'm asking you to do so many. And then hit OK. Now, what do? Command D, deselect, V for the Move tool. Now we're up on the Move tool, hold the Alt key on your keyboard and drag. Now all you do is come over and grab your Magic Wand to select the last one you made, Edit, Fill to change the color, go to Color, and let's choose something else. Let's go into the pink family. So grab something like that, OK. OK, and then Command D or Control D to deselect, and you will do 2 more of these as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and make a perfect circle, and it's no different than making a square. You're going to hold the Shift key while you're in the Ellipse tool. So you can see I'm still on my Magic Wand, so I'm going to hit, I'm just going to go over here and grab my Ellipse tool or my Marquee, and you'll see here it lets you know that the shortcut for that is M. So you have your Marquee tool, hold the Shift key, and you can drag, same thing, it drags from wherever you start. I started over here in the left, it drug down, Command D to get rid of it. If you hold the actual Alt key while you hold the Shift key, same thing, the circle will draw out from the center. This actually comes in handy when you're trying to center something on something that already exists in the document or in the drawing, and you can place it right on the top. The computer lets you know when you're centered, and so it's just a good thing to know what you can do with these things. So I'm going to fill again, color, and let's go deep. Go deep on that one. Hit OK. Deselect, which is Command or Control D. Hit V to go back to the Move tool. Hold the Alt key and drag. Now go to grab your Magic Wand tool or hit W on your keyboard, and you notice how it popped up. I'm going to select it, Edit, Fill, color. Let's try something here, and OK, and then Command D to deselect, V if you want to go back. And what's happened is, if you've noticed, I didn't make a new layer, and I wanted to do this, so I know this happens sometimes. You're like, oh, and it happened in class. If you go over here, if you notice, when I went from ellipse and went to a circle, I didn't make a new layer, did I? And so now everything's attached on the same. So that's why it's important to make sure that you've done the layer. But this will allow you to use Control-Alt-Z and go back to where we were right when we finished the ellipse over here. So I use Control-Alt-Z to go back. Now what I'm going to do is add a new layer. Then double click on it and do circle. And then we'll do it again. So we'll go over here, grab the circle. I'm holding Shift-Alt so I can draw from the center. Then I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, Color, 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 Color. There we go. And then I'm going to fill it. Hit OK. There it is. Command D or Control D to deselect. Hit V to go to the Move tool. Hold the Alt button on the computer. Everybody with me? And then just drag. And now you have another circle. Circle's on its layer. The ellipse is on its layer. So now what I'm going to do is grab the Magic Wand tool, Edit, Fill, and you should be getting the hang of it by now, because like I said, I'm only doing 2 for demo purposes just to save a little time. And you can stop me and start me, rewind me, whatever you need to do to go back if you aren't understanding something. So then I filled, Command D, and V back to the Move tool if you want to move these anywhere. And then remember, you know what, let me do one more. I'm going to drag this one. I'm going to go here and make an Alt and pull it down here. I'm not going to change the color, but that way I have 3 of them, and so I can show you over here. I've got circle here, circle here. So if I want to move all of them at once, click the first circle that you want to move and click on the last circle you want to move and hold the Shift key, and notice how it'll also highlight anything in between. So it did this one, and then if I take it now, I can move all of them as a group. And this comes in really handy when you're doing Pantone colors on mood boards and things like that, when you're trying to find a place in terms of your layout where you might want things. So there's that, and to get out of it, just click on it, make certain everything has a layer, and then all you do at that point is File, do Save, call it Photoshop Exercise 1, and save it wherever you want to save it. I'm going to put mine on my desktop, make sure Layers is checked. I need to see those, and hit Save, and then hit OK. And there you have it. All right.